Okay, so I've had some really good questions about Power Beyond and what exactly is Power Beyond. Okay, my 7530 is running out there. Anyway, Power Beyond. Oh, well, I can explain this to you in multiple different ways. Now, Power Beyond has been in tractors for many, many eons. I should say eons, but for many, many years. Basically, what Power Beyond is full hydraulic flow that goes to the implement that you're pulling. All right, so you have selective control valves, which I will show you here. This is selective control valve 4, or 3, 2, and 1. So they always, for some reason, they start at the bottom of these, but this is selective control valve 1, this is selective control valve 2, selective control valve number 3. These selective control valves are operated, these are remotely located from the valve bodies, which are here, and you can adjust the speed in which they operate. Selective control, meaning this is the you select 1 through 3 on this particular tractor, and you have 1 through 3, and you can control the amount of flow that goes through these valve housings or bodies. Power Beyond is here's the body here, and I have it labeled and marked here. Pressure is the top one, return is the lower one, and the middle one, and the bottom one is your load sensing. So because these are load sense hydraulic systems, it needs to send a signal, whether it's a drop in pressure or an increase in pressure. I think it's a drop in pressure. A drop in pressure within the valve body causing a signal to the pump to actually apply pressure to the upper part of this thing. Okay, so this is where they're remotely located. So this is a pressure. Obviously, I've got it marked, and it's around in red. And return, which is a clear one. It is also labeled here. You can see it. That says pressure there. And this one here should say return. I have the tags back on them. The second one down is actually the case drain, which goes over here and drains. That's for the hydraulic motor that runs the pusher paddle on the top of the bottom. It comes around the top and pushes the bales back. And this is your sensing valve. There's an S there, and it says load sense right there. So in essence, it takes the control from the levers that work these control valves, and there's constant pressure that goes all the way back, or on demand, all the pressure there all at once, and then you control it in the cab by a third function or a joystick, and they're all electronically actuated in the back there. So when I want to swing the loader, when I want to swing the bale wagon to the side to begin to pick up bales, up in the cab, I will show you a very simple thing. We get up in here, and in the cab is the joystick. Okay, so here's the joystick. It just so happens that it is here. Well, here, I'll turn the. Hold on here. Let me turn that on. I can get my computer screen. My computer screen. That's actually a Parker computer, believe it or not. So we can hit OK when it gives you gotta wait a few seconds. You're supposed to read it, and you hit this F2 button, which gives you the button reference. This machine will not move in this screen. So if this is 1, you can see it lights up. Number 2, it lights up 3, 4, 5, and 6. There are 6 buttons here. But if we go back to home and we are in automatic mode, and because the tractor is not running, nothing will happen. The coinciding buttons, so there's your hitch offset. I hit this button here, and you'll see the light up on the hitch offset, and then inline, you put it on the other side. You hit auto load, you hit the reset, which means it's going to come back down. Auto load is the button you push to make it squeeze the bale, and then load reset actually opens the arms, and then, as you go through the screen. So as each function is done through that button, each one of those functions is done through that button, it sends an electronic signal to the valve in the back, which in turn causes I believe it's a reduction in pressure, maybe an increase in pressure, to the signal valve, which then signals the pump to supply pressure to the machine. Power Beyond. Now, a lot of guys are saying, oh, you fucked that up, you're not going to have enough flow. I know I got enough flow. The simple reason is there's still 3/4 inch hoses, okay? The 3/4 inch hose hasn't changed. This coupler is a 3/4 inch coupler, or this is actually a 1/2 inch pipe, which is the same size as 3/4 O-ring. The ones that they came with were 7/8 O-ring, which would be 3/4 pipe if I was to buy the larger ends. So maybe that's cleared some stuff up for you. Now, I think I said this in the video before this, but this machine's minimum requirements is 20 gallons a minute. This tractor puts out, I think, 26.5 or 27 gallons per minute through this size coupler, because that is the size couplers that are there. So this machine will work perfectly fine with this tractor with the smaller couplers, or quick disconnect hydraulic couplers. It will work. It will work just fine because the tractor is rated at 26 or 27 gallons a minute through that size coupler. The machine will only require 20 gallons per minute to function and work correctly. So hopefully I've cleared some of the mud in your heads when it comes to that particular part of this machine. The only thing that I was really upset about with these hoses was the fact that I got those great big ginormous ends and I could not put adapters on these to adapt them down to the smaller size. I actually had to go and spend money and put 2 new hoses on. These 2 new hoses, this one and this one, cost me $349 to put those 2 hoses on there. That is really what annoyed the hell out of me the most. The second annoyance was this little guy right here. They change these from model year to model year. This is a 10 series, but that 7530 has a different end here. So I actually have to make this piece here and keep it in the 7530 when I get the 7530's Power Beyond hooked up. And that should be coming today. It's snowing out, but I'm supposed to get that today. A couple other little things that were annoying to me to the machine was the fact that the hitch was what it was, and I didn't have to change it, but I did, and there it is. That's what I've come up with, and that will actually make me feel much safer in the end. It isn't what the manufacturer had suggested I put on there, but I built that thing about 10 times heavier than what they had, and it's strong. It's not going to fail. It's not going to crush because of the steel plating that I have in there to do the vertical pressure, so it's completely down onto the drawbar. And I put 3/4 instead of 1/2 inch bolts in there. So yippee skippy, I'm good to go. The other thing with this is, I know a lot of guys from Europe and England are saying, hey, why don't you know, I know the 7530 has the larger couplings. Well, I think it's a regional thing, to be honest with you. Here in the United States, I know that the 7810, you can only get this. You can only get the smaller ones. Now, I did go home last night after reading some of the blatantly disgusting comments that some of you put out there about Messiks and about ProAg and about me, myself, and I, as to how I don't know nothing about anything. And I said that. I've never used Power Beyond. This is a learning experience for all of us. I'm trying to teach you something as I go along with it. I don't know everything that goes on in this world, and I'm learning stuff new too. So with the 7530, I can get the larger size couplers. I guess in the 30 series and the 8000 series tractors, like the 8120, the 8000 series, you could get the larger ones. The 30 series, they all had the larger ones or the smaller ones, because you're leaving the 20s. I don't know if the 20 series had them on the 7020 series, but anyway, it was available to have both, either the larger or the small ones for the tractor. Okay, so I opted for the ones that are on this tractor, the same size as ones on this tractor, for simplicity, so that I don't have to worry about, oh shit, I've got to change the hoses out because I don't have the right hoses. I don't have the smaller connectors when I want to switch between tractors. So the 7810, if we're not using it or not needing it, and you know, the 7530 needs to be somewhere else, then I can just hook to this one and go, or vice versa. If this is on the sprayer and I need the 7530 to run the stack wagon, bam, there you go. Or for some stupid reason, I could put one on the 7810, and then I'm going to have to do some finagling. I'll have to actually make up the ends myself to make that work. But that's just that. So these will work. They are compatible. It does have enough flow. It does have enough pressure. It does have enough of everything. So rest your minds. Put your minds at ease. This is just the older style Power Beyond. So hopefully I've answered some questions. Maybe I've pissed some of you off, but you know what? To be quite honest with you, I don't care. Messick's called me, and they were not upset with me. They said that I was a little snarky, but it was understandable, which doesn't matter because they don't own me. I can say whatever the hell I want. If I want to say that Messick's is the greatest dealership in the world, I can say that. That wouldn't be true, but you know what? They're not bad. I've dealt with other dealers in the past. Horrific ones. I won't even mention her name, Mycroft. You know, so I would deal with Messick's over any other one. John Deere doesn't give a shit if I ran naked through their plant. Well, they might care about that. But if I was to say that John Deere fucked up royally and blah, 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 they wouldn't care. John Deere just doesn't care. I'm just one of a very small percentage of farmers that purchase these tractors and implements and parts and pieces. They would just tell me to go buy a blue one. That's how little they care about me. So John Deere doesn't care, but the short line companies, they do care. This machine weighs 13,000 pounds. It is a heavy little bastard. That's really why I wanted the brakes on it. But that was another issue that kind of got lost in translation. I'm not too god-awful upset about it because I'm pretty smart. It's really going to be used on hillsides, which I won't put this thing on the hills. And if I do, I'll only stack them 6 high at that time. I don't have to go 12. You know, it'll be no different than stacking hay with, say, the HD4 SR. So anyway, with that being said, I guess I'm done. Move on to the next thing. And yeah, so I hope I explained enough on the Power Beyond and the differences, and I will actually take a walk out here. Give me a second. It'll only take a second. I'm going to walk out here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the 7530's fat ass. Okay, look at them tires. Holy cow. Anyway, someone told me that the 7530 should have a Power Beyond in it, and in all honesty, I do not believe that is so. Maybe somehow in this block there is, but I don't see it. I mean, I've got this, and I'm not even sure if this is a pressure line or if this is a return. I'm not even sure. That looks like a return to me. I'd have to really get into the book. Again, how in the hell am I supposed to put Power Beyond on this thing if I can't put it in? There's a lot of stuff here. You see, this is for the front PTO hitch or the front 3-point hitch, and this is either a return or a pressure. I'm not sure. I don't see any markings or indications of what that is. There is another port behind it, so this may be a pressure, and the one behind it may be a return, and somewhere up here may be a sensor. But I don't have any documentation or even markings on the damn thing to show me what exactly it is, because honestly, I don't really want to lose one of these 4 selective control valves. To put on the Power Beyond control valve for that stack wagon, I have to take this block off, which is nothing. I just take that off, and this is my brake system, so that's fine. That's out of the way. That's bolted over there. But yeah, so I just have to take this off. It's 3 bolts, boom, unhook the wires, and you're done. And you just cap them off so that no dirt and shit gets into them. But then you put the Power Beyond, and that's where that will hook up to. There'll be 1, 2, 3 of them right there, and that'll be where that is, which is fine. Well, fine by me. And this is your case dump, which is down here. Someone said something about here, but that's the clutch and that's the brake. That's the PTO clutch, and that is the PTO brake. So not the brakes for the tractor, but the power takeoff brake. And I know that because I know the tractors. But anyway, that's just what's going on here. I was waiting for the UPS to come by and drop off those parts so I could get that stuff together. And yeah, but they haven't gotten here yet. When they do, then you'll see me backing this thing in and doing some work on it. So right now I'm going to start another video. Thank you.